Okay, we're going to start our look at solving trig equations. Now, whenever anything mentions the word trig, that means it's got to do with sine, cos and tan. So we've looked at the graphs of sine, cos and tan. Today we're going to have a look at solving trig equations. For example, we need to be able to solve things like sine x equals a half, and we're going to solve that between 0 and 360 degrees. Now, on our calculators then, if we do inverse sine of a half, I can't get my calculator up while I've got this screen up, which is quite annoying, but I will show you when I get back to the notes. If you press shift and then sine, you come up with that sine with b minus 1, put in a half, hit equals, you should get an answer of 30. If we have a look at our graph, there's our graph of sine. So that's our sine graph of sine x. If we look at the line where y is equal to half, we have got two solutions. So we need to find a way where we can get two solutions from this. Okay, our two solutions here are 30, which we got from our calculator, and our other solution is 150. And we know it's 150 because your sine graph is symmetrical. So if we've gone 30 this way in from 0, we need to have gone 30 back the way from 180. So we get our answer of 150 as well. But we need to know a way of getting that second solution without just looking at the graph. It's fine for a value like 30. You can see it quite straightforward for a value like 30, but it might not always be such a nice answer. If we look at our three graphs then, we've got y equals sine x, y equals tan x, and y equals cos x. And what I want to look at to begin with are the values between 0 and 90 degrees. Now if you look at all three graphs between 0 and 90, all three graphs between 0 and 90 degrees are above the x-axis. So all three graphs are positive. So in that first box there between 0 and 90 degrees, I'm going to say that all my graphs are positive. If we look at the next 90 degrees round, so between 90 and 180 degrees, if we look at the first graph, the sine is above the x-axis, so it's positive. But both tan and cos are below the x-axis, so they're both negative. So in that one we can say sine is positive. If we go the next one round again, go to 270. 270, sine is negative, tan is positive, and cos is negative. So in that quadrant I'm going to write that tan is positive. And the last one, up to 360 degrees, sine is negative, tan is negative, but this time cos is positive. So I'm going to put in that one that cos is positive. And this helps us find our second solution, because our solution can only be two things. It can only be positive or negative. It can't be both positive and negative. Well, it could be if we put plus and minus, but generally speaking, to get my second solution, I want to know whether the graph is positive or negative, and that will tell me where my second answer is. That first answer that we always get that first answer from our calculator. So we always get that just by typing it into our calculator. Our second answer, if you look at the sine graph just now, however far we go in from 0, we need to go the same distance in from 180. So to get an answer in this quadrant, when sine is positive, we want to do 180 take away x. Looking at tan, the same distance that we go from 0 to get any of those answers is the same distance that we go from 180. This time it goes forward from 180. So in tan, we need to do 180 plus. And can you guess what's going to happen in cos? Whatever distance we go in from 0, we need to go that same distance back from 360. So in cos, we need to do 360 minus whatever that value was from our calculator. Okay, let's see how we use this then. Let's see if we can use this and try some examples. Okay, let's have a look at solving some trig equations then. Okay, the first question I have here is sine x equals 0.866. So to get my first answer, pen's not working. to get my first answer, I need to do second function sine of 0.866. So we type that into our calculator. And try this on your calculator just now, because it helps to know that your calculator is working properly. So we press shift, sine, put in the number. Some calculators are really fussy. I need to close the brackets. Other, it doesn't matter so much. So we get 59.997, which we're going to round up to 60 degrees. Okay. If you did not get that on your calculator, chances are you're in the wrong mode. If you press shift, mode, to get into setup, you want it to be in degrees. You press number 3. Okay. To get our second answer then, that's where we're going to use this diagram that we just looked at. So it's an all sine tan cos diagram. Some people say Sex in the City. There's lots of other different ways of remembering it, but whatever way you can come up with, I'm always happy to hear new ones. You do need to know this diagram. You do need to be able to write it down and understand how to use it. Okay, so our first answer is 60 degrees. That's the answer that we get in here, that we get from our calculator. Our second answer then, we need to decide which quadrant, so which of these other 3 our second answer is in, and it comes from here. So it goes right the way back to the question. We've got sine x equals 0.866. Now 0.866 is positive, sine is positive in the all, because they're all positive in there, and it's also positive in here. In here, we do 180 minus x to get our answer. To get my second answer here then, I need to do 180 minus 60. So I get 2 answers, 60 degrees, and I get 120 degrees. Let's try the next one. Next one, we've got cos x equals 0.5. First thing I need to do is use my calculator. I need to do cos to the minus 1 of 0.5. That comes out at 60 degrees. Then I want to decide where is my answer going to be. And I always go back to this original question to decide it. It's cos and it's positive. Cos is positive here because they're all positive in here. And it's also positive here because it's C for cos. And that stands for cos is positive. In here, we do 360 minus x. So to get my second answer this time, I'm going to do 360 minus 60. So x is 60 or 300. Try a third one. Tan is 0.577. So I'm going to start by putting it into my calculator. I'm doing tan to the minus 1 of 0.577. It comes out as 29.98. We're just going to round that to 30 degrees. Okay, it's tan and it's positive. 0.577 is bigger than 0. Tan is positive in here because they're all positive in here. That's always where I get my calculator answer from. And in here. In here, I need to do 180 plus. 180 plus 30 gives me 2 answers, 30 degrees and 210 degrees. Now you might want to pause the video and try this last one before I go over it to check you've got the hang of it. Okay, first thing I do is inverse sine 0.249. Calculate it out. Shift sine 0.249. That's 14.4 degrees. That's my answer in here that I get from my calculator. It's sine, it's positive. So my second answer is in here. In here, I do 180 minus. So I'm going to do 180 minus 14.4. 165.6. So my 2 answers this time, 14.4 and 165.6. Okay, I'll let you practice some of the positive ones, and then we'll go on and have a look at the negative ones.